Well, welcome along to another MiTunes podcast here at manxradio.com.
Marc Tyley, the nation's station, Manx Radio.
This week's MiTunes guest is, who is it, Chris?
It's you.
Goodness me. This came, since we've done about 200 of these, somebody years ago said, when are you going to do it, Mark? And I said, oh, no. Well, that time has come. So without any further ado, I'm going to talk to the man who's going to be doing the morning show from next Monday.
Oh, is it that soon already?
It will be a week today.
Good heavens.
I know.
I know. I can hardly wait.
We'll talk about that later. But
of course.
I'm over to you, really.
Well, it's an honour to talk to you in this position. I find it slightly strange to do this, but because us DJs are a strange breed, we don't let we don't like to let everybody know all about us, do we?
No,
It's part of the trick.
It's like comedians. Some are very funny all the time, and DJs sometimes are very outgoing. But a lot of us just sort of crawl back into our shell.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Because actually, the other thing is that people aren't really interested in us; they're interested in us entertaining them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Very much.
I'm not sure
so.
if they're really too interested in our private lives, because everybody's got problems in their own private lives and things to worry about.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay. Well,
All this week? Well, until Thursday anyway.
Yeah.
So listen, you've been in radio longer than I have, and I thought I'd been in it all my life.
Yeah.
When did you first start in radio?
Radio, that's an easy one. I was doing hospital radio
Yes.
in the 70s in what they used to call an institution for the mentally ill. It's one of those old red brick,
Oh, yeah.
big old asylums.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
And they had a radio station there, and it was great fun. It was down near my college, where I was at college in Chichester.
Yeah.
And I volunteered for that. But I was also doing DJ stuff, like DJ on the decks.
Well, like mobile DJs.
I was more resident at the
Oh.
college. I did a bit of mobile before I went to college, and then
Yeah.
I did the college disco. And so that. And then my first proper radio job was 1978 in the British Forces Broadcasting Service in Cyprus,
Right.
which wasn't bad, was it?
No, that's all right. It's a good gig if you can get it.
Yeah.
It's better than, lying around somewhere in the midst of London somewhere.
Yeah.
So before that, when did you think to yourself, do you know, I want to work in radio? Or I want to do something to do with music? Was it always something you wanted to do when you were at school? Or?
Yes,
Was
and your Carnaby Street reminds me of those days every time I hear it, because I was one of those kids listening to Caroline and London with my radio under the pillow,
Yeah.
and thinking, I want to do that. I
Yeah.
really wanted to do that, and going down a little transistor radio thingy onto the beach on summer holidays, and maybe just get a bit closer to the ship. No, so really from the get-go.
So, and that was 1980, 70, 60 and bonk.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So, yeah, a long time ago. So you mentioned BFBS. I want to know more about BFBS. Perhaps we'll share some more about that tomorrow, because I'm intrigued about BFBS. A long while ago, I worked with an ex-BFBS DJ at a residency at Lakeside Country Club down in Frimley in Surrey, where they host the darts.
Oh, yeah, the Lakeside Darts. Yeah, absolutely.
And we used to do a Stranger Things, a Tuesday night disco down there, but I cannot for the life of me remember his name. He was in his mid-60s at that stage, and I was in my mid-20s, so, he's long gone, somewhere up there playing tunes to everybody else, but I can't remember his name.
Okay.
And he worked for BFBS for years.
Yeah, well, it was a big institution. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to remember that when I joined it in 78, there were well over 250,000 service personnel and families in Germany.
Yeah.
Because we were bang in the middle of that Cold War.
Yeah.
And the British presence around the world, hangover really from the end of the Second World War stuff, was enormous. I mean, there were garrisons everywhere. Huge influence in those days. And BFBS, or BFN, as it used to be in Germany, British Forces Network,
Yeah. Okay.
was really important to the population. Quick story before this first record.
Yeah.
In the north of Germany, you had the British troops. In the south of Germany, you had the American troops, primarily, again, left over from the Second World War.
Lost in the jungle.
Yeah, more or less. And when bands came touring, the big British bands would sell out really quickly in the north and a bit slower in the south.
Right.
When the American bands came over, they'd sell out quickly in the south and a bit slower in the north because the German population had grown up with American music down south
Sure.
and British music up north.
Yeah.
It was a complete split of the country.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Juxtaposed.
Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned your first tune of the week. Which one have we gone for today and why?
Well, it's a great record. It's the first single I ever bought from 2G's Records shop, and also got guitar strings there in Chiswick Street. And it's at the time when the Rolling Stones just literally made an impact on the charts. First single to do that. They didn't write it, but it's just, for me, it takes me right back. And I just think this is such a great song. It's the Rolling Stones and Not Fade Away. If you were listening yesterday to this MiTunes thing, you would know already that it's me. Because honestly, over 200 MiTunes guests since we started this. You know who the first one was, Chris?
No, I don't.
It was Kiri Kermode.
Oh, was it really?
She was my first one, and she's still on there on the old hurdy-gurdy of podcasts.
And what was she? What were you interviewing her for? With her farming hat on?
Radio, countryside, obviously, and farming and music and all that. Yes, so it's me this week, boys and girls. Thought it was the right thing to do. Chris is going to be here this time next week.
Yes.
I won't be here. Chris Williams, you'll be doing all this.
Yeah, it all starts
not
Monday.
This, something brand new.
Something else.
Yeah.
So we're putting MiTunes in the bin.
Yeah. Room 101.
We'll lock it away. Never to be seen again until somebody comes up with what they think is a unique idea on this radio station in about 20 years.
Yeah, nothing. Well, I think Desert Island Discs beat us to it on
that's
this one
probably
as well.
true. Yeah.
Go on then. Quiz me, Chris.
Well, listen, yesterday we spoke about a little bit about BFBS. I want to talk about your guitaring now.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're a bit of a guitar collector.
I am.
And a bit of a player. You're a little bit. He's a quiet Jimi Hendrix on the side, ladies and gentlemen.
Funny you should say that. I did love Jimi Hendrix, and I remember first seeing him on Top of the Pops with my dad, and I was playing the guitar then, and he came on and did Purple Haze, and my dad he said, "This is amazing." I said, "You like it, Dad?" He said, "Yeah, it's unbelievable. This guy is doing stuff that no one's ever done." And I was really amazed at my dad. Because he just said, yeah, because he was a dance band leader.
Right.
See, my dad was in music during the war and then after the war.
Yeah.
Carried on with a dance band, Leonard Tyley and his orchestra.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have we got any music by your dad?
I'll tell you what I'll do.
Yeah. Find us some Leonard Tyley.
The thing is, some Leonard Tyley and his orchestra. If I do this, listen to this introduction.
Yeah.
Now here's a program of dance music by Leonard Tyley and the orchestra, and the first number is Woody Herman's Apple Honey.
Wow.
Here we go. That's my dad's band.
Wow.
And there you go. And that was recorded for the BBC. Never released, so they're the old acetates, just pressed for broadcast.
Yeah.
And long after he died, we found him. My sister and I found him.
Fantastic
So that was
memories.
his band, recorded 1948. That was
Modern day artists would fall over backwards to get a scritchy scratchy sound like that on their new singles.
I know.
Have you noticed that? All of them are doing that nowadays. It drives me up the wall.
So
It really does.
anyway, you asked me about guitar.
Yeah. So you
So-
collect a few guitars and you play a bit now and again.
Yeah, it all started really growing up in West London. We had a guy down the road who was a flamenco guitarist, but also a Radio 1 DJ. Actually been on the Pirates. Mike Raven, whose real name was Churton Fairman. He's long gone, but he played the guitar and he taught my sister and he taught me. Now, that's down that way. That's
Yeah.
left down the road.
Yeah.
Out of the house, turn right across the railway lines.
Yes.
Was a classical guitarist called Julian Bream.
Oh, yeah.
Who was
Well, we all know who Julian
world
Bream is, yeah.
famous. And my sister used to do a bit of house cleaning or something, and he taught her a bit.
Right.
And she taught me a bit.
Okay.
And I was only 5 or 6 at the time.
Yeah.
And the lovely guy, the Radio 1 DJ, he was also a magician and a guitarist, this guy Churton, gave me a Spanish ladies guitar.
Wow.
Which is a bit smaller than a big one.
Yeah.
And that's where I started, playing a mixture of flamenco and classical guitar.
And is guitar the only instrument you played?
No, because my mum taught me to play the piano.
Right, I was a pianist.
My
Yes, a
dad
pianist.
taught me to play the drums because he was the drummer.
Yep.
And nobody taught me to play the violin.
Thank heavens for that. My mother suggested I learn the violin at school, which didn't go down very well with the cat or the neighbours. So then we decided, or rather she decided, it would be a saxophone.
Oh, you know what? I wish. That's one instrument. You know, now I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Or won't be.
Now you've got some time on
I
you.
might have a go at the saxophone.
Do you think so?
Jerry Carter? If Jerry Carter can do it,
Well, that's true.
You know?
Well, if the Vanguard of Justice can do it, you can do it. You can do it. So you've got a few in your collection.
yeah.
Because every now and again I see a little post on social media from you, trying to offload an amplifier and stuff.
I sort of made a deal with the guitar god. Got to say, look, one in, one out.
Okay.
I failed, obviously,
Yeah.
but that was the plan anyway.
As we do, yeah.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
So there you
Okay.
go.
So, I mean, have you got any expensive guitars?
Yes.
Have you?
But only because they're old, and I've
Right.
had them a long time. The ones I cherish are the ones I've had for 30, 40 years, and they're worth a few bob because I bought them new and they're still great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't mind how much they cost. I just like, if I can pick one up, it can be a tatty old thing. If it works, it works. You know, doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. So, track 2, what have you got for us this week?
Right, track 2. For me, I was at school, secondary school, and I remember, again, I bought this record. I rushed up to 2Gs, was still there, I think, and bought this record. And I didn't realise at the time that what I was listening to was the crucible, the birth of the Electric Light Orchestra.
Okay. Yeah.
But I got so excited. It had such a fat sound just on the record player. It just sounded bigger and bolder than anything else I got in my little record collection. Only a few records. And it was because Jeff Lynne had joined The Move.
Yeah.
And I think you probably squeezed it. Have you played this on Carnaby's Joy? Or is it a 70s track? I'll have to look at the date. I can't remember. Anyway, Jeff Lynne moved in with Roy Wood. This was their first collaboration. It's called Brontosaurus.
Her sister used to hate it, so I never thought she'd make it. But she threw you all, supposing it is tango rapper. She will let you stroke her head, but if you move
Tyley on MiTunes. Has the world gone mad? No, it's just I'm handing on the baton of Radio 1 power to Mr. Williams. I'm not. People say, you're retiring, Mark. I said, good Lord, no, I'm just having a gap year.
Well, I was going to say, what are you doing? You're just taking a year off.
Well, I've got family spread all around the world. And
in this job, you don't get much time to see them, really,
You
because it's
don't.
like a 7-day-a-week job. Even if you're on air for 5 days a week, feels like 7, doesn't it?
Well, by the time you've done all your bits and pieces,
Sure.
my son's in Singapore. Haven't seen him for ages with his lovely wife. So
He'll be paying for you to go.
he'll be paying for a suite in Raffles.
It's about time. It's payback time.
Yeah, and more Singapore slings than you can throw a brick at. But we thought if we're going out there, me and Mrs. T, we will go for a long time
Yeah.
and we'll explore a bit of Asia.
Absolutely.
Over there. So we'll go to Vietnam, we'll go to Cambodia.
Fantastic,
Do
yeah.
a few railway trips. You want to come? It'd be good.
That'd be great. I'd love to come. Yeah, when are you going? Next
Well,
week.
That's the beginning of next year. But there's other stuff happening before that. And I thought, well, let's just press pause on this malarkey. So I'm not retiring.
Okay.
But it's just like press pause.
I don't think you ever retire from this job.
No.
I really don't. I think in one way or another, you'll always keep your hand in.
And I know why that is.
Why?
It's too much fun.
I know. Yeah, that is true. You know, we're very lucky. We come to
Yeah.
do a job that we actually enjoy coming to work to do.
Oh, by the way, Brontosaurus, 1970.
Yes, you see, so
yesterday.
it wouldn't qualify
It's
for
a
Carnaby
shame.
Street.
It's a shame.
I know.
But it was an amazing tune.
I know.
Amazing tune.
Okay, so we spoke about guitars yesterday, and I did say on Monday I wanted to ask you more about BFBS and your time with British Forces Broadcasting Service.
Yes, bless them.
It must have been really exciting to go to those kind of places, but also I'm sure it must have been a little bit scary as well.
Yes, it was, because when I joined, as I said, I joined the firm in 78. My first job was in Cyprus. Cyprus was pretty immune from the Cold War. I mean, there were bits and pieces and spies and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But then I went to Germany, and in 82, I guess it was 82, and the Cold War in its full on, very intense, and I was doing a breakfast show, and going into work, and every now and then, in the middle of the night, I get a call. Because we had certain operations to do if we thought Russia was invading.
Sure.
And this wasn't like an exercise.
No.
This was, they did exercises, don't get me wrong. So I got a phone call about 2 o'clock in the morning from the duty operations person, and come into work, Mark, please, and wait. Don't do anything, just be there. We need you there. Now, we always had an overnight engineer.
Yeah.
It was fully manned, that
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
In those days, you had people on all the time. I went in, and I waited. And the phone call said, OK, Mark, it's fine. You might as well stay, but all OK. And just started the breakfast show at 6 o'clock and cracked on. And I went to see my boss. I said, boss, what happened last night? He said, there were 2,000 Russian tanks coming towards the border.
Right.
In the middle of the night. We thought it was the real thing. It was, in fact, an exercise. They were just timing the Western response to these, this business.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. What should I have done? Oh, well, there's an envelope. I'd have rushed in with an envelope. You'd have read stuff out. Basically, everyone who lived up north and over towards the east, get on the bus, leave your pets behind.
Really?
One suitcase each,
Yeah.
and leave.
Yeah. That's it.
And that was the instruction. Basically, and we were literally the civilian voice of Armageddon.
So they would have left you on air then, whilst everybody else was hot-footing it out of the area. They would have left you in the studio.
They would have left me in the studio until such time, because this is how old
I suppose
it was.
they'd fly you out, though, wouldn't they? I mean, the RAF
No,
would come and rescue.
no, you get on a coach with your one suitcase and no pet.
Okay.
And because the radio station in Cologne was safe because it was west of the Rhine.
Yeah.
Right? That made us safe. Right? People who were east of the Rhine had to get on a bus to come west of the... You couldn't
It's
make
funny,
it
you
up.
know, because these days you're not safe anywhere.
No.
Are you?
Well, we
it-
weren't there.
if-
It was all nonsense. We
Yeah,
weren't safe.
I mean, if China or Russia decided to get upset, they could do it any time they wanted, and nobody in the world is safe. Whereas I suppose in those days there was still the the standoff between countries, and it's there as a deterrent, and they wouldn't use it.
You
I'm
mentioned-
wondering if we're sliding more towards who's going to push the button first. But
Well, yeah, and you mentioned standoff. There was that sort of because everything was pointed at each other,
Yeah.
if you did go first, you knew it was, what do they call it, mutually assured destruction?
Yeah, so
it was all over.
Everybody would go, yeah, absolutely.
I spoke to the pilots. You'd love this because I know you're Spitfire mad.
Yeah.
The pilots who were sitting in the aeroplanes when the Cuban Missile Crisis was on. They were on the runways in the German air bases, British and American air bases in Germany, with nuclear bombs, ready to take off if they got told to during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And they realised, and I interviewed these pilots, I was chilled. They knew if they took off to do their job, where they'd come from would be destroyed, their family would have gone, and they'd have nowhere to land, they'd have to find somewhere to land, and then that's it.
Fend for themselves.
And they knew that if they got the command, that was the end of life as they knew it, and...
It's a hell of a job, no?
Yeah. Sitting there in an aeroplane, waiting.
Yeah.
Luckily, didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Taken to the brink, though.
Yeah.
Right. Well, listen, we've been rapidly gone for far too long.
Okay.
Check number 3, yes. Tune number 3.
Well, it's quite good. You've sort of steered me into this.
Oh.
During the 60s, protest songs, I wasn't a huge Dylan fan, although I love bits and pieces. I don't know about you. I'm very much a tune-by-tune person.
Yes, I am as well.
I'm not loyal to artists, actually.
No.
Really. I love the songs.
We can't be because we have to be quite Catholic in our styles.
Yeah.
Because we play all sorts of
King
stuff.
in a Catholic style, you might say.
Well, indeed. There's
You
a
could
song there somewhere.
chuck that in. Anyway, protest songs.
Yeah.
And I thought they'd gone away. And then some years ago, Bruce Springsteen brought out an album called Devils and Dust.
Yeah.
It was around the time of the Iraq War. And I guess because of the BFBS stuff and hanging around a lot of military folk, it just rang with me. I thought, Bruce, he's done a contemporary protest song with no schmaltz, and the arrangement. I mean, if you want to make a record, boys and girls, and you want to produce an acoustic track with a bit of extra layering, take a listen to this. I love it. See what you think. Bruce Springsteen, Devils and Dust.
I got my finger on the trigger, but I don't know who to trust. When I look into your eyes, there's just devils and dust. We're a long, long way from home, Bob. Home's a long, long way from us. Feel a dirty wind blowing. Devils and dust. I got God on my side, and I'm just trying to survive. What if what you do to survive kills the things you love? Fear's a powerful thing, can turn your heart black, you can trust. It'll take a God-filled song, filled with devils and dust. Well, I dreamed of you last night in a field of blood and stone. Well, the blood began to dry, the smell began to rise. Well, I dreamed of you last night, Bob, in a field of mud and bone. Your blood began to dry, the smell began to rise. We've got God on our side, and we're just trying to survive. What if what you do to survive kills the things you love? Fear's a powerful thing, it'll turn your heart black, you can trust. It'll take a God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust. It'll take a God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust. take a righteous stand, find the love that God wills, and the faith that He commands. I've got my finger on the trigger, and tonight faith just ain't enough. When I look inside my heart, there's just devils and dust. But I got God on my side, and I'm just trying to survive. What if what you do to survive kills the things you love? Fear's a dangerous thing, will turn your heart black, you can trust. It'll take your God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust. It'll take your God-filled soul, fill it with devils and dust.
It's the final day of MiTunes with Marc Tyley. No, I mean, it is the final day.
The final
Day
ever
of Marc,
day
yes.
of MiTunes.
And it's with Marc Tyley, because I'm your guest
Yes.
on my programme.
Yes, and it's a pleasure to have you here on your programme. It's very confusing.
It's weird. I tell you what, it's not quite as weird as the Girl on the Train competition I did last week. I had an actress a day to give away tickets for Girl on the Train, which, by the way, starts tonight. Break a leg, everybody. It's a cracking story. And I was giving away tickets, and I said, you've got to identify the girl on the train. Oh, is it a film when they're in the dining car? No, I've just put the soundtrack with a bit of music it was mayhem, Chris. Mayhem. Anyway, I digress. So
I heard it.
Last day
Today. Well, listen, how long have you been at Manx Radio now?
17 years.
Is
so
it really?
A newcomer.
You are a bit of a blow-in, really. Well, I mean, I've been here 25.
25.
This
more
year
like
for
it.
me, yeah.
It's more like it.
So, over, about 20-odd years on breakfast, I think. So that's, we'll hang the old slip mats up on the headphones and move. We're moving out on Monday. So, yeah, you mentioned that you're taking a gap year. I mean, will we hear you again?
I hope so. If I can croak my way back onto something at some stage, I'd love to. No, it's like I said the other day. We don't do this for any other reason, because we love it.
Yeah.
You certainly don't do it for the money.
No.
Just to make that point quite clear.
If we did it for the money, there'd be a queue of people outside the door wanting to work for us.
To any civil servants listening to what pay rise? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not ruling anything out, Chris. Not ruling anything.
And what about Stalking Heads?
They will continue stalking and making a noise, and a very fine noise. We had a rehearsal the other night. Now that was funny. We don't normally do that.
No.
And it was like we'd never been away. We hadn't played together for about a couple of months, and boom, it was just lovely. It was just great.
For anybody who doesn't know, Stalking Heads are the adopted Manx Radio house band. Who play at the Railway, amongst other places in Douglas, on their live band nights, and consist of yourself.
It's a bit more like cooperative. Let's go back to why it's called Stalking Heads, because at the time, Stu Peters, the bass player, and Bon Vivant,
MHK Stu Peters,
the very same,
right?
Bass player, also plays the drums rather well, was doing a program called Talking Heads on Manx Radio. So we decided to call the band Stalking Heads. Jason Roberts, he's on harmonica quite a lot of the time.
He works for another radio station.
He's down there, isn't he?
He is down there.
Yeah.
He's
Hairdresser FM. Apparently he's down there.
He used to be here as well.
Yeah, he was here.
A couple of times. Then he was somewhere else, and then he came back here, and now he's gone down there.
Liverpool Echo back in the day, don't you know?
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Proper journalist. Anyway, so get that in, Jason. Go on, boy.
Right.
Heinrich on the keys sometimes. Dave Burnett, wonderful guitarist. Dave Burnett is my wingman. I'm on guitar and vocals, and on the drums, John, the fabulous Joyner.
Okay, good.
That's how it works.
And when's your next gig, do you know?
No.
Okay. So, along with MiTunes, also consigned to room 101 will be the Friday Flutter.
I can't believe you broke a horse.
I did break the horse.
You broke a green horse.
I did it by accident.
Yeah, you dropped it, didn't you?
I dropped it on the floor. Well, actually, I dropped it on the desk.
The Formica of
studio
Fortune.
desk.
The Formica of Fortune.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then the leg snapped off.
Well, no, the tail went.
Oh, it was the tail. Oh, the tail
And a
snapped
hoof.
off.
You told me about the tail.
I didn't do the hoof.
You did.
Did
It
I?
happened at the same injury.
Did it?
Anyway, so I got the tail
Yeah.
sorted out. But the hoof was missing.
Yeah.
So the thing was limping.
I know,
And
bless.
then eventually it fell over.
It fell over.
It's up at the old rest home rest.
Do you know, I'm not sad in a way to see the end of the Friday Flutter because
You
I
used to
couldn't
love
get
it.
that machine to work. I mean, honest to goodness, it broke on me at least 3 times. It wouldn't,
I have to-
wouldn't start, then it pinged off the table. Oh,
I have to thank everybody for that, because when we were locked down 4 and a bit years ago, and there was no sport.
Was
and
it that long ago?
Yeah, and I said to myself, what can we do? What can we do? And I remember I never had the game. A friend of mine had the game back in Chiswick. I thought, we'll have elite sport on the radio. And I thought it'd be a laugh. And within a couple of weeks, we had a couple of thousand people watching it on the Facebook thing live around the world. But the only thing I didn't tell the bosses at the time is I think a couple of Far East syndicates were betting on it, because literally in the Facebook comments would be a load of Chinese and Korean characters.
what, see, they're serial betters, though.
Well, I
aren't they?
know. So I think somewhere in the Far East there was a syndicate during lockdown having a gamble, a real monetary gamble on my little fun Friday Flutter.
Okay.
It must have been.
Wow.
That's the power of the internet.
Yeah. You're gonna miss your listeners, Mark.
I will.
Are you going to miss the show?
Yes.
You better say yes.
Of course I am.
Are you going to miss the radio station?
Yes.
You better say yes.
Yes, all of that and
All
more.
right, I'll just put those cue cards away now.
Yeah,
so you
so
can't
no,
say that.
yes to all of that. I'm going to say a proper thank you to everyone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tearful moment, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
oh, don't, for heaven's sake.
Oh,
Don't
no.
start everybody off.
Well, I'll start crying about 7:30 and finish about...
Everybody in the sales department will start crying.
Oh,
We'll never get your work done.
That's right.
And are you going to bring any cream cakes in and things?
Oh, I better, hadn't I?
Are you having a party?
Probably.
Okay.
Actually, I think I'm going to get it cheap, because there's a staff party on the Saturday night, so I might just chuck a few quid behind the bar then,
It's
actually.
not a bad idea. So we're looking for your final tune on the final ever MiTunes with Marc Tyley on his programme, introduced by me for him.
Who's starting the new show on Monday at 9
Who's
o'clock?
starting the new
9
show on
o'clock,
Monday?
new early start, 9 o'clock. for
I'm
you.
not sure if I'll get used to it, to be
course
honest
you
with you. I'll still be awake at 2:30 in the morning.
Right, very quickly,
Yes.
this record album
Yes.
was produced and came out on very thin, nasty vinyl. There was a world vinyl shortage. It was the time of a petrol crisis in the early 70s.
Yeah.
Oil crisis, I should say. And vinyl, of course, is a byproduct of the petroleum industry.
Yeah.
And they made it really, really thin. So I can genuinely say this is the only album I have properly worn out by playing and playing and playing. And I certainly bought another vinyl copy. I've now got it on CD, and I've probably got it on all sorts of devices as well. So
CD? You're showing your age there.
Yeah, that's
Nobody uses
compact
CDs
disc.
anymore, do they?
compact discs, the state of the new future of music. David Bowie, this
yeah.
is. And I wanted to leave you with a bit of a belter
Yeah.
from the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, etc. So, Chris, good luck on Monday.
Yes, thank you. Looking forward to it.
And I'll take you out with this. Suffragette City.
Oh, leave me alone, you know. Hey, man. Oh, Henry, get off the phone. I got the state on my face. This mellow fat chick's just put my spine out of place. Hey, man. My school is insane. Hey, man. My work's down the drain. Hey, man. Well, she's a total blam blam. She said she had to squeeze it, but and then she, oh, lean on me, man, 'cause you can't afford the ticket. Back from Suffragette City. Oh, don't lean on me, man, 'cause you ain't got time to check it. You know my Suffragette City was out of sight. So it's alright. Hey, man. Oh, Henry, don't be unkind, go away. Hey, man. I can't take
What a track, what an album. The rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust, Spiders of Mars, David Bowie. And that's just about it. Well, certainly for this series of MiTunes podcasts, because taking a break from radio for a while, it's Marc Tyley saying thank you. I've got to thank all our MiTunes guests, over 200 brilliant guests over the past 4 3/4 years. It's been such a joy. And, you know, I always say this, but the real joy is not just chatting to people, getting to know them, but also wondering what they're going to choose. And that's never been a disappointment, especially when you think about Dr. Henrietta Hewitt and Rammstein, the very, very hard rock German band, just as we were sort of coming out of lockdown. That made me smile. Thanks to you for joining us. I'm sure there'll be another series along the way at some stage, but for now, thank you from me, Marc Tyley, and I'll catch you soon.
Now here's a program of dance music by Leonard Tyley and the orchestra, and the first number is Woody Herman's Apple Honey.